Liam, Oldham tomorrow. What do you make of that game?
A good game, good test. They're on a good run themselves. Good players. Obviously, a young manager, I know very well. Sets his teams up to be quite expansive, and I think it'll be a good spectacle for everybody.
I think right, saying you played with Richie Wellens, is that right?
Yeah. Unlucky enough, lucky enough, whichever way you want to. No, he's a top player when he's played at Blackpool. Enjoyed my time thoroughly there, and I think he's, like himself, he's trying to put his own stamp as he did as a player into management, and you can see that within how he manages and how his teams are going out and playing as well.
And this week was the last time for a month or so. You're going to have a few days with the boys just before a game. It's now, I think, a game every 3-4 days. Yeah. How have you prepared this week?
It's been good because it's allowed us to get some rest into the lads who needed it. The minutes have topped up quite well, quite a lot over a short number of days. And like I said, I think I said previously in a different interview, this time of year is purely about it's preparation. It's making sure you're tactically aware, but freshness, other than fitness as well. And there's different groups to be managed around, certainly the squad, and it's important that they're still topped up as well. And like you say, you're going into a month now, which coming off the back of a similar month, to be honest, where you're playing more or less every time you open your eyes, which is sometimes a good thing.
I want to mention the medical staff and the boys themselves, because we got to this stage of the season, and when you think about it, there's half a dozen or so players who play now 50 games, and we're not got many injuries, touch wood, and I think that's credit to the staff and credit to the boys.
Yeah, I think the lads will be the first to say it. I think the people inside the building, they realise how hard the two lads, certainly Andrew and Nick, work, alongside myself, Anthony the gaffer, and Nick, with the lads themselves. They look after themselves very well. And like you say, this time of the year, touch wood, if we can keep a fully fit squad going in for the running, we'll have a good running hopefully.
Going into Oldham, does the fact it's Friday, then Monday, and a long trip down on Sunday play into your mind at all?
No, not really. You've obviously got to manage each, individual game. Travelling, everything comes into it. But I think if you're prepared and you're quite routinely organised, you should be fine. The lads are quite lucky at this club; they get looked after very well. Nutrition, travel, everything else. So, we try and get them in the best shape possible, mentally and physically for the games.
And the pitch at the DW's had a good rest as well, and we've had to deal with some difficult pitches over the last couple of weeks, haven't we? Yeah,
we have. I think that's shown in our play, in our kind of wins, how they've come about. But it's just part and parcel. You've got to adapt for certain situations, and thankfully over the last few games, the lads have done really well. I've got to give the lads credit because not just the 11 who've been on the pitch or the 14. It's the full squad. They've all kind of bought into it through the year, through the season, and the last couple of weeks haven't been no different.
You mentioned the whole squad. I was going to mention Bury. Before the game, we had 4 or 5 of the lads that weren't in the squad, just there, encouraging the boys on, just pitch side, being about. How healthy is that to have that?
I think once you do get that within a squad, it's great because it's easy. I'm sure you've seen different clubs can go different ways. If you've got them lads out of the squad wanting the lads who are playing to do well, I think you're on a good path. I think because, in my opinion, the managers have been the ones who need looking after the most of the lads who aren't playing, the lads who aren't in the squad, because it will be their turn on a Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you play, and they'll want the support of the lads who aren't then. So it's important you build that around the club, and I think we've got that so far. The lads been a pleasure so far this year.
And we've spoke about the demands on the players and the staff of these games, but for the fans, financially, logistically, it's not an easy period, is it? And
not
the support is probably when it's needed most now, isn't it?
It is coming to the running because you genuinely do need that 12th man, and I think sometimes they go underestimated how fans can be for the players. Certainly our group, it's been mentioned a few times, certainly over the Christmas period and over the running when the game's been cancelled, etc. Because it's not cheap to watch football now. Certainly if you bring in your kids, you've got a couple of kids with programmes, with drinks, with dinner, and certainly if they're as expensive as my kids, it's not cheap. So the lads do appreciate. I think you've seen that on Saturday at Bury when you've got over 2,000 fans there, and thankfully we put a performance and a result on, and hopefully it won't be no different coming to the running because we do appreciate that.
Just going back to the fitness of the squad, how is it looking ahead of Friday?
Yeah, fingers crossed. Like I say, we've had a few games over a short period and managed to dust ourselves down this week, tidy a few things up. So fingers crossed we can pick from a healthy squad.